Aw man, I can't wait to play Spider-Man 2 on PC. The last two were so great and well optimized. Alright, let's open it up here and Hey guys, East45 here. Hope you guys have been having a great day. Nix's and Sony sure haven't. If you clicked this video, you most likely are aware of the launch state of Spider-Man 2, and I wanted to get on here and see was the launch really that bad, and what led to it ending up in this state in the first place. So I'm a huge Spider-Man fan and enjoyed the first two games in the series when they both released on PC, and those were both great in my opinion. Compared to most PC ports around the time, the Spider-Man ones ran good for me once I turned down some settings, since I had a 1660 Super at the time with like only 8GB of RAM, and I was still able to get them to run smoothly at medium settings. I remember beating Miles Morales 100% in like less than 3 or 2 days. Granted, of course the game is shorter, but that just shows how much I love these games and shows how little sleep I get daily. So when Spider-Man 2 finally came out after seeing the same promotional shot for the 10,000th time, I was both hyped and sad. It was bittersweet since I was a PC player. I was forced to watch a playthrough, which I still very much enjoyed, but wish I had my hands on it myself. When it initially released, I had assumed it'd be 2 or more years before the game could be released on PC. Like most, I assumed it would have DLC which would release, and once that's finished, we'd get a PC version with everything after. Of course, that never ended up happening, which was again bittersweet. There was no deluxe content for me to enjoy, but also meant I was getting a PC release sooner since they didn't have to worry about DLC. Now, the whole DLC situation is a video on its own, so all I'm going to say is I do feel like the leak had something to do with us not getting any, but anyway. The game was announced to launch in January, a year after the game released on PS5. I was super excited. Sure, no DLC, but I get to have my hands in the game earlier at least. I was optimistic not only because I was excited to play the game, but confident that it would continue to trend of them releasing solid PC ports that ran well. By this point, The Last of Us Part 1 launch had already happened, and if you weren't in the know, it was one of the worst ever launches for a PC port out there. It sucked because I was very excited to play it too, but because of the launch, I had to wait until it was not only fixed, but on sale, because I wasn't paying full price for a doo-doo game. I did end up getting it, and by the time I did, it ran fine, but again, it sucked I had to wait at all to get a good experience. Again though, the Spider-Man games had a good track record. The PC port for The Last of Us was done by Iron Galaxy Studios, while the Spider-Man game was ported by Nix's Software. So clearly these guys were more trustworthy, right? The time had finally come. Not only was I getting Spider-Man 2 on the 30th, but the new Spider-Man show the day before on the 29th. I was eating as a Spidey fan, alright? Eventually the day came and I remember trying to get the game bought and download it before I had to go to class that evening. I was so excited and eager though, I had forgotten to check the reviews for the game. I didn't even see it on the store page. I was just so focused in on the buy button. Again, due to that trust I had developed already. So I bought it and downloaded it. Since I had a better setup now, upgrading to a 3060 and 16GB of RAM, I thought I'd put to the test how the game ran on default settings at first. I had played the 2 games on my 3060 when I first upgraded, and they ran super well with the new hardware. So after of course turning off film grain and motion blur, I left all the other settings on to see how I perform. Of course I had to turn some stuff down and or off, but everything seemed okay enough in the opening part of the game. That was until I crashed. Getting an error saying there was something wrong with my settings or that my GPU driver was outdated. So while I was back on Steam, I went back to the game's store page to see the infamous mixed at the reviews. Oh no, what have I done, I thought. How could I be so naive? I know better than this. I always check the reviews first. I always wait to see. I scroll down and see the constant not recommended. How the game is just another bad PC port that can't run properly. I thought you were different. You were supposed to be special, but I was wrong. Now, although this was the case, it was mixed reviews for a reason. It seemed like some people had little to no issues at all and were enjoying the game. So as a free-thinking individual, I decided to still give the game a shot. I was still under 2 hours in playtime, so I still had time to refund it if it wasn't going in my favor. So I downloaded new drivers, which had just come out that day apparently, and relaunched the game and tweaked some more settings. And my experience, at least with FPS, wasn't bad. I had it capped at 75 FPS and was able to get it 60 to around 75 consistently, with frame drops and choppiness appearing in specific sections. And if I went down to medium settings, I'd be getting stable performance. Now, even though the frames were alright, when it came to other stuff, it fell flat. For one, a lot of visual bugs and glitches. These appearing in the side missions most prominently. In missions where you have to follow those trails of blue line to the next location, yeah, those wouldn't appear for me at all. Didn't matter if I restarted the mission or restarted my game, I wouldn't get the trail, meaning I had no idea where to go, having to follow the thing by the sound it would make, which of course wouldn't work if it was more like than 100 meters away. So I'd have to look up walkthroughs of the missions online just to know where to go so I wouldn't get soft locked. And during the section where Pete and Harry are trying to save Tombstone, I was experiencing audio glitches. I wouldn't be able to hear Harry talk at all during gameplay parts, only during cutscenes. So it looked like Peter was talking. So it looked like Peter was talking to himself. Then the background music will come in and out, and just as I'm writing this on the 6th of February, they seem to have released a patch to target crashing, this being its third hotfix since the game released, and I'm honestly one of the lucky ones. People have experienced the worst crashing and stutters and frame drops, more visual glitches and such, on very capable hardware too, like 40 series GPUs having these issues. Imagine being told by the game that your software and hardware is the problem when you have specs like this. Okay, editing me here, even more so. So I've beat the game by now, right? And I also have played New Game Plus, and during it there is another soft lock bug. So during the mission, the flames have been lit, like where you're like Peter, like at the Craven's dining party, and you have to steal that sleeping dart to like, you know, laced to put in the meat to put the tiger to sleep. So during it, you know, when you steal the dart, you know, a button comes up to get it, and normally in the game this works fine. You're able to steal it and go on the mission, but specifically in New Game Plus, you cannot. Like, I should have it pulled up on screen now, like if other people having this problem, but specifically in New Game Plus, you can't get the dart. You get soft lock, you can't progress. There's nothing you can do, at least I know of, and what these people know in this forum, there's nothing you can do to get around this. And what I had to do, what it was found out, well, there is a solution, there is a way to get around it, but you have to use a controller. So during the mission, like when you have to press the prompt and it doesn't work, in order to get it to work, you have to switch your controller. That's what I had to do. Luckily I did have one, but it's literally a lock. Like, if you don't have a controller, you can't complete the mission, like, whatsoever. Like, if you don't have a controller, all you have is a keyboard, and you're on New Game Plus, you can't get past that point. You're stuck. Like, that is insane. Like, it's technically a soft lock, but I would say it's a hard lock. If you don't have the controller and you want to do New Game Plus, you can't get past that point because the button prompt just won't work. Yeah, so while editing, that's another thing I wanted to put in there. That's definitely a big issue and just adds to how bad of a state this game is right now. But yeah. And other than the issues I have, the game has been fun and lived up to what I was hoping it'd be. Again, minus everything else, just the game itself. I'm about 21 hours in and around 70% done. I've been doing all the side missions along with the main story, and definitely see myself replaying this game again when I finish. It's just sad the game rolled out in this state like other PC ports. So the question is, what happened? The port was still done by Nix's, so what did they do wrong this time? I speculate that this just might be on Sony themselves, and well, time. The remastered version of the first game came out in November of 2020 and didn't release on PC till August of 2022, so Nix's had plenty of time to get things right, which they did. Same with Miles Morales releasing in June 2020 and getting its PC port in November of 2022. I presume they're working on both ports at the same time based on the dates, and still were able to push out both with good quality. Both games have nowhere near the same type of reviews as Spider-Man 2 does, so it's safe to assume that Sony had rushed the launch and didn't give Nix's the right amount of time to polish everything like they did before. Again, 1 year after it was released, they announced the PC release in January, so about a year and 3 months after the game came out, a PC version followed. This poor launch has now ruined Nix's reputation and now clumps them in with Iron Galaxy Studios and other teams behind bad PC ports. It sucks. When Spider-Man 3 comes out and the time comes for its PC port, I'm gonna be very wary now. Overall, these have been messy times for both Spider-Man and PC releases in general. The whole Insomniac leak messed up a lot of stuff for this game, and I believe we'd be in a much better situation if it never happened. Then for the past few years, PC releases have been absolutely horrible. You can never afford to buy a game day one, except Baldur's Gate. Whether it's a port, multi-platform, or PC only release, developers just can't seem to push out a decent product. And again, this has more to do with the publishers and higher ups, but I really do hope for the best for this industry, not only for us consumers, but the workers too. Just the gaming as a whole, but right now, especially PC gaming. I love my PC and want to be able to enjoy as many games as I can on it. Also, I didn't buy this 3060 for nothing. Well, that's all I really had to say on this situation. I hope you guys enjoyed, and remember to always be cautious when buying new releases. Do your research, and remember, you always have the option to wait. You never know when the game price drops and goes on sale for 70% off. I mean, just look at Suicide Squad. Also, if you want to hear about a more successful Marvel video game project, check out my Marvel Rivals video. Link in the description and in the end card. Peace.
Fish in the sea's the one for me.